The light is not darkness, but its ghost. For 100 years, the sun has been a forgotten god. Its memory a myth whispered around a dwindling fire. Outside the mouth of this coastal cave, the world is a permanent, featureless grey sky, grey sea, grey ash-dusted snow that never fully melts. The air itself is thin, tasting of sulfur and cold stone. This is the long twilight of a world choked by a single, ancient cough from a supervolcano. An event that would one day be given a name, the pre-catastrophe theory. Inside the cave, a family huddles. They are perhaps one of the last families on Earth. They are the living embodiment of a genetic bottleneck. The impossibly narrow strait through which our entire species had to pass, or perish. Their existence is a fragile, flickering thing, a handful of sparks scuffed against a global wind. Their days are a slow, monotonous rhythm of survival. They tend the small fire fed with scavenged driftwood. They brave the frigid tides to pry mussels and limpets from the rocks, their only reliable source of food. This is the whole of their world. At the center of this small constellation of humanity lies the elder. She is the only one who remembers. She is the last living link to a world of color. Her skin is a roadmap of wrinkles, but her eyes, room-wired, clouded, still hold the ghost of a different light. The others were born into the grey. They know nothing else. Her breath is a shallow, rattling thing, a failing rhythm. The family knows she is on her final journey, and with her goes the last first-hand account of the before time. Her daughter leans in close, her ear to the elder's chapped lips. The old woman is speaking, her voice a dry, rustling thread of sound. She is not talking of hunts or spirit. She is talking about the sky. It was blue, she rasps, the word a foreign sound, not grey. Like the inside of a mussel shell, but it went on forever. She describes the sun, a fire in the sky so bright it made you warm, so bright you had to squint. A small child, born into a world without shadows, looks at the smouldering fire and then to the cave ceiling, trying to imagine a fire so vast. He cannot. The daughter listens, her face a mask of desperate concentration. She is not just listening to a story. She is trying to inhale a memory, to absorb it into her own being. These stories are the most important part of their inheritance, more valuable than any tool or fire-starting skill. They are the only proof that the world was not always this cold, this dead. They are the fragile architecture of hope. As the elder's breath hitches, a final, soft sigh, an unbearable weight settles on the daughter. The library is closing. The last witness is gone. From this moment on, the memory of blue is no longer a truth, but a story, and the story can be forgotten. The days that follow the elder's death are heavier, the grey of the world seeming to press in on the cave itself. The daughter, now the matriarch, faithfully repeats the old stories around the fire, her voice trying to conjure a world she can only just remember. She speaks of the great, warm fire in the sky, of a world painted in greens and blues. But the words are becoming thin, like worn hides. She sees it in the eyes of the children who were born into this long twilight. They listen, but they do not understand. How can you describe warmth to someone who has only ever known degrees of cold? How can you explain a blue sky to a mind that has only ever known a ceiling of perpetual ash? Despair is a patient predator. It doesn't charge, it seeks. It is the silence between the heartbeats, the growing certainty that the grey is all there is, and all there ever will be. The matriarch feels it draining the will from her small family. This is a battle not for the body, but for the mind. Their physical survival depends on a deeper, more fundamental strength, their cognitive resilience. They must have a reason to get up each morning, a reason to face the freezing tide for another handful of mussels. The stories were that reason, but they are losing their power. One day, while digging for edible roots near the base of the cliff, her hand strikes something hard. It is a lump of rock, but when she pulls it from the grey mud, the blades are deep, starting red onto her fingers. It is a nodule of iron oxide.
preparing to
A
fight
pocket
back.
of raw ochre.
This spirit
In
of
this world
resistance
of
and
muted
problem-solving
tones,
drives
the
human
color
effort.
is a physical shock, a shout in a library of whispers. It is the color of blood, of life, of the setting sun from the elders' stories. An idea takes root in her mind. An idea as audacious and revolutionary as the first controlled fire. If words are no longer enough, she must give the stories a body. She smuggles the lump of ochre back to the cave. The choice to pursue this is a hard one. The time and energy it will take is time and energy not spent finding food. Her mate watches, his face etched with worry, as she spends hours grinding the rock between two flat stones. Creating a fine, rich powder, she mixes it with rendered fish oil, creating a thick, vibrant paste. This is a moment of profound significance in the story of prehistory, an act of creation driven by the most desperate of needs. Then, by the flickering light of the seal oil lamp, she turns to the smoothest wall of the cave. She dips her fingers into the paint. The others watch, their hunger-dulled eyes filled with confusion. She presses her hand to the rock, leaving a perfect, red handprint, by his signature. We are here. Then, she begins to paint, not the shape of a bison or a fish. She paints a great, glowing circle. It is crude, imperfect, but it is unmistakably what she intends it to be. Sun, she whispers, the word now having a shape. Above it, she uses a piece of charcoal to draw a great, arcing line. Sky, she has made the myth tangible. She has given hope a form. The war becomes a scripture of the lost world. Over the months and years that follow, the matriarch's artistic vision, her act of symbolic behavior, becomes the central pillar of their existence. She creates other colors. Black from charcoal, a chalky white from crushed shells. She paints the stories her mother told her. Tall, green things called trees. Great, shaggy beasts with horns. Creatures none of them have ever seen, known only from the bones that sometimes wash ashore. The cave is transformed from a simple shelter into a sanctuary, a library of memory. The hunt for pigments becomes as important a part of their subsistence strategy as the hunt for mussels. The paintings change the family. The children, who were born in the grey, now have a visual language for the before time. They can trace the shape of the sun with their own small fingers. They can give names to the strange, painted animals. The stories are no longer just sounds in the air. They are real, permanent. This act of creation, born of despair, becomes an act of profound altruism. The matriarch is not painting for herself. She is painting for the generations she may never see, bequeathing them a world of color in case they never experience one of their own. Years pass. The matriarch grows old. Her own hair is now streaked with the white of the shell paint. Her mate is gone. His bones laid to rest in a small side chamber. New children have been born, have grown, and now listen to her tell the stories of the paintings. The world outside remains unchanged, a perpetual twilight of the Pleistocene era. Their survival is a stubborn miracle, a testament to the sheer, unyielding power of a single, shared idea that the grey is not forever. One day, one of the younger children is standing at the mouth of the cave, looking out at the familiar, bleak horizon. He is tracing the shape of the painted sun on the cave wall with one hand, his eyes on the sky. He tilts his head. "Mother," he says, his voice quiet, filled with a strange wonder. The sky is leaking. The matriarch, her joints aching, comes to stand beside him. She looks out. The sky is grey, as it always is. But she sees it too, in the west, near the horizon where the sea meets the sky. The thick, homogeneous cloud cover seems thinner, and through it, impossibly, is the faintest, most delicate hint of something else. Not a color, not yet, but a different quality of light. A whisper of blue, tears, hot and sharp, well in her old eyes. She sees the ghost of her mother's face. It's her raspy voice describing a world she thought she would never see. The child does not understand the tears. He has never seen blue before. He does not know what this fragile new light promises, but she does. It may not be tomorrow, or the next year, or even in her lifetime. But the sun is not dead. It is coming back. The long night is ending. She pulls the child close, her heart a frantic, hopeful drum against her ribs, and for the first time in a century, she looks at the sky not with memory, but with anticipation. This family, huddled at the edge of the world, represents the most critical moment in the story of human evolution. Their survival was not a matter of strength or technology, but of narrative. They endured a century of darkness by telling themselves a story about the light. The cave paintings were more than art. They were a biological imperative, a tool for survival as essential as a sharpened stone. They were a way to inoculate the mind against the crushing despair of a dying world. In that cave, we see the very essence of what makes us human. The ability to hold an image of a better future in our minds so powerfully that it allows us to endure an unbearable present. Every book, every film, every song, every dream we have for our own children is a direct descendant of that first, discrete scroll of ochre on a cave wall. We are the species that survives by telling stories. And the most powerful story of all is the one that simply says, the sun will come back. Hope is not the belief that things will be easy. It is the act of painting a sun on the wall of a dark cave. But what if the darkness was not in the sky, but in the heart?